That one's new. It doesn't have my bad breath smell on it yet.
I can see the valley.
Like this. So what have you been doing?
I can see the road we used to climb. I can see the mountains leering on the other side. And on and on and on and on it goes.
Good Talk Josh, episode 15. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Latham Realty Unlimited.
Call Jeff to see how they can solve your challenges and help you achieve your goals. Jeff's team is badass.
That's the going slogan over there.
Looking for badass people who want more out of life. Call Jeff at 425-345-4920.
We're also brought to you by the Stilly Diner. Stilly Diner is located at 223 North Olympic Avenue in Arlington. I went in there this weekend for Eagle Fest. What I didn't realize is it was a ruse to get me out of the house so Jody could plan another surprise party. It's been 10 years, but holy shit. Like, one of those surprise parties was actually a surprise. I said that about my 30th birthday, and then this weekend had the same deal going on. So anyway, the Stilly Diner part of the story is I took Keenan down and we did everything down in downtown. Watched the Charlie the Cougar movie at the historic theater down there. We watched the chainsaw art happening and a bit of the auction that was going on across the street at the park. And it was about 10 minutes to 4 when we walked into the Stilly Diner, which closes at 4. There was no griping or bitching. They let us in, sat us down, got us 2 burgers and our milks and the best straws in the business. Those twisty straws, if you get a kid's drink in there, you'll know what I mean, man. It is 1.5 miles long and it bends any way you want to bend it. They're freaking fantastic. Keenan loved it. But yeah, the friendly service in there was amazing. He was getting a little bit tired and antsy, and the minute he started doing that tired cry, everyone in there knew what was up, and they had my bill to me. I barely had to pull out my card because they had it all checked and paid for. So I left them a nice, healthy tip, and I just love it in there. It's a great place. The other sponsor, well, Patreon. It's not really a sponsorship. It's my Patreon page. It helps fund. It does a majority of funding for this show. Helps out a little bit. Create our art, man. This is a quick, cheap way to support the show and other artists and help us develop our dreams, because this really is a dream come true. Finally, this song is Bradford Loomis is the artist. The song is Across the Divide. You can find all his art and music at bradfordloomis.com or over there on Facebook at Facebook/Bradford Loomis Music. Thanks again for letting me use this song. It's awesome. Now let's get on to this episode. I sit with the Cascade Hiker podcast host, Rudy Giesek. Rudy's been an inspiration to me. He's one of those guys where if you're lucky enough to call him a friend, you can attest to how heartfelt he is, how passionate he is about everything that he has his hands on. And if you need something, he's there in a heartbeat. And he's one of the people I'm very, very, very proud to call my friend. And this is the first of many episodes, I imagine, because there's so much more that I found out I need to talk to him about. So enjoy. Thank you. Instead of doing the asking. And I have no preparation for this, so it'll be fun. But I am totally interested in the Pepperidge Farm stuff. Because when I first met you, you were bouncing, bartending, doing all that jazz. Was that, how'd you get into Pepperidge Farm? I know you were at Albertsons for a long time. Was that?
Yeah, I was at Albertsons from when I was 18 on, and I worked at Shotzi's like on the side. Gotcha. And so there was a while there when I started bartending full time that I quit Albertsons, but then I ended up going back to Albertsons later.
Oh, okay. And Pepperidge Farm, was it just someone quit and you decide hey, I want to buy that business? Or
yeah, somebody has to want to sell a business.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that originally he owned from 128th Street in Everett all the way to the Canadian border, just by himself, right? And so as Goldfish crackers and Milano cookies started going kind of crazy in stores, he started being overwhelmed, and so he started kind of slowly selling stuff off, and he had an employee as well. And so he sold off Everett, and he sold off Marysville, he sold off Lake Stevens and Snohomish and Monroe and all that, so he had just a huge territory. Well, when I got in, one of the guys he had sold to had grown a little bit, wanted to split his route, and then also that original guy wanted to sell part of a route, so they combined a route, and that was for sale. So it was $250,000, and when I first talked to my wife, it didn't go over very well. Yeah.
I'm thinking about quitting my job and spending $250,000.
Yeah, and we had just gotten a second out on our house, and that was how we originally had the down payment, because you have to come up with 10% down. Yeah. And so you're looking at $25,000. Not everybody has that sitting in their back pocket. So we had that out. We had just bought some property up in Concrete on the Skagit River there, little half-acre little camping spot, and that's why we'd pulled that out. It was only $19,000, but we had pulled out extra just because it was actually a line of credit or something. So we could pull out if we wanted to. And I was like, well, should we? And my wife was like, I trust you, and I was like, right on. Well, I don't know if I do.
Yeah. No, it's with no risk comes no reward, but in the long run, you're way happier now, right?
Oh, yeah, things are good. I since bought another route from that same guy. I bought his final route. He finally retired, and he gave me his truck, gave me all his computers, all his hand trucks and everything. So, and then he also gave me the down payment. He's like, well, here's the down payment. And then I gave it right back to him, but Pepperidge Farm wanted to they wanted to see that I had money. And so, yeah, he actually wrote me a check for was it $30,000? No, $20,000. And he's like, yeah, here's your down payment. So basically that came off the price. So I got a pretty good deal on the route. And, yeah, man, I had an employee for a while, and I was running what Pepperidge Farm would consider 3 routes between the two of us, and it's been good. But I'm finally to a point to where all my loans are paid off now, and I kind of want to relax and get back down to where it's manageable with one person.
I know you own the route. Are you does Pepperidge Farm send out minimum quota stuff or goals or everything, or is that up to you to kind of grow the business at your own pace?
Basically, we're very separate from Pepperidge Farm in the aspect of they want to make sure that the shelves, there's no out of stocks.
Yeah.
And I think
so. They buy information from Albertsons. They buy information from Kroger.
Yeah.
And independents are kind of
right.
up to you.
So yeah, exactly. And then so all the ads are run through Pepperidge Farm. They set up all the ads with all the accounts, and we love the ads as independent distributors because Pepperidge Farm takes it in shorts whenever they go on ad, and we get our same cost. So whatever the normal cost is, that's what we get paid on. So if you see $1 goldfish or 3 for $5 goldfish, I don't care. That's awesome because we're selling more product, and I'm still making.
Yeah,
what my original
you're still
cost
making
was.
the 40 cents a package or whatever it is that you're getting.
Where Pepperidge Farm, they're the ones paying for those ads, so that's nice. And then we can run the same thing at cash accounts, but we're what we call the independents. We call them cash accounts, and we can run those. They give us a certain this 2 weeks you can do this 2 weeks you can do that for this amount, and they also take the hit on that as well. But we're the ones that actually have to sell that in, like you were saying.
Yeah, so. That's awesome. So when John Q. Public decides to open up gas station, variety store, has a Subway involved in whatever, and it's kind of like a wide open. If that's in your territory, that's up to you whether or not you want to go in there and sell him a shipper. Yeah,
we have mapped out territories, so it's very detailed. So you think about Smoky Point. Smoky Point would be a good example. So you have 172nd Street that runs down the middle. And you got Walmart and Safeway on one side, and then you've got, in the I-5, and you got Target and Costco over there,
yeah.
Right? So they might say 172nd Street is your part of your map, and only stores on the north side are yours, south side are the other person, or it might say neither side are yours. So if they have that address saying 172nd anything, it's not yours. So it's very detailed that way. So it could be both or one side or no sides.
Well, you said you've been into it for 10 years. 10 years ago, there was only Safeway and a couple gas stations.
Yeah.
Is that something when that develops, if that is a borderline area, Is there a seniority thing on that? Or if like Marysville decides they're going to put in the Costco and they're going to put in, develop all that other stuff, or now their stores are popping up all over. If Fred Meyer decides to build out there, that's something in the lines that's already pre-written.
Yep. Whatever your map says,
yeah.
That's what it is. So if it pops up and it's on your address that you have detailed out, that other person has the exact opposite of whatever you have, right?
Yeah.
So there, it's just roll the dice, and
that's
you
crazy.
either win or lose on that one. But so the background story for me, when I first bought, the guy that sold to me, we had this like zigzag thing going through Smoky Point because he knew about all that.
Yeah.
So he wanted to keep his Costco, and Costco just changed for us. They paid us out for our Costco's if we wanted to, and I chose to. But it used to be Pepperidge Farm sold in goldfish to Costco. Then the only way they deal with people is pallets. So Pepperidge Farm would deliver pallets to their warehouse. Pallets would show up at Costco, and we would just get paid for it, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like money for nothing.
Mailbox money?
Exactly. Completely. And we're talking, couple thousand a month.
Yeah.
For absolutely doing nothing. Well, when I first got in, I didn't have a Costco. The guy sold to me, split between the Target and the Costco over here in Smoky Point. Came over, so I had the Safeway, and they cut out the land where the new Walmart was being built. And I knew all this, and that's fine. I was completely confident. I told my wife, I said, she said, I trust you. And I said, right on. The first, I don't know if I trust myself, but then once I realized how I could excel at it, and it was right up my alley. I took my Albertsons experience combined with my bartending
people
personnel
skills.
Yeah. And just went crazy with it. So I get a phone call I was about 6 months. They'd already broken ground on the Walmart, and I got a phone call from that guy who I'd given $100,000 to, like say about 2 years before that. And he says, "Oh yeah, I really need some money." I was like, "Okay." When he goes, "Do you want to buy my Costco?" And I said, "To be honest with you, I don't have money to buy your Costco, but I might be able to find money to buy your Costco if you throw in the land that the Walmart's on. But I don't want to talk you out of anything. That's the deal, and either take it or leave it. I'm not pressuring you. Like I'm going to make sure that he understood like that was the way it is, or it's nothing, because I just don't even really want it. I didn't want any of it." And yeah, he took the deal. He's like, he needed the money that bad, so he sold me the Costco and gave me the Walmart, and the Walmart opened up, and boom. And then I ended up selling all the Smoky Point, other than that side of the I-5 where Target and Costco was. But I mean, I've jostled my lines around a little bit here and there to benefit myself too. So.
With experience, you got to, right?
Well, yeah. And you kind of procure things like a farmer. You get out there and it's like, all right, well, this is the way. You finally get something the way you want it. People that build for a living, people that run real estate, whatever. We've had on the podcast before, but you get it to that point where you're just like, wow, clay, you're molding it. It's like, okay, this is going to be perfect. So what I have it lined up for now, I'm selling part of my route. And I have a couple of prospective buyers. Hopefully that works out. All my stores now are just going to be right along I-5. Just boom. All Skagit County, down Stanwood, and I still have Target and Smoky Point. And it's just a big straight line. It's like, all right, that's, none of this going way out there and going out there. I used to have Darrington. And, it's a fun town, but I don't want to drive out there all the time.
Yeah.
And I still have concrete, but my parents live out there, so it gives me a reason to go see them,
Yeah. Is that are you doing mostly like driver sales? You're literally driving the inventory out there and selling off of your trailer, or are you going out there and then revisiting a couple of days later with the product?
No, I like to have the product on because, otherwise you just turn in your wheels too much. I mean, that's just too much work. There'll be some times when I show up and I'm short on something and I will have to go back, but I would plan on going back anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, I either have it or I don't. So
how often are you hitting accounts?
It depends on the size. But, like my Walmart in Mount Vernon's my biggest account, and I give them 4 days a week service. So then I've got other stores, some of my Hagen stores, where I just go one time a week. So and then those smaller accounts, those the independents or whatever. I mean, we're talking some of them are once a week. Commando Plaza, I've got Payless Foods down in South Whitby. Some of them are once a week, but some of them are once a month. And you mentioned gas stations and stuff. I could go in to Island Crossing and try to sell to the truck stop dude, but to me, it's just so small.
And what, like, for an